When it's bad, I want to kill them.
So you get, like, let's say, bloggers and vloggers are bigger than the publications, the mighty publications. Your Rolling Stone, New Yorker, whatever have you. You know, I mean, how does that affect you guys as far as navigating through that climate?
Well, there's a lot more people have a go at you online every time you release something.
Yeah.
You know, you're getting someone that's got 600 followers that think they're Wordsworth or something, and they're properly having you on Twitter.
Compliments are almost as damaging to me.
Yeah,
Sure.
Because obviously there's part of you, even if it's tiny, that wants to be liked, like that wants approval.
Yeah.
And so that's really dangerous to be like, oh, maybe I should do more of that because people like it.
Well, yeah, that's going down.
Yeah, it's a really dangerous thing. So.
Very true. It attaches to your subconscious, doesn't it?
It can, huh?
It can do, yeah.
When it's bad, I want to kill them.
There's always like one that you always remember, isn't it?
And they can drill it.
At least verbally. Okay, I'll show you. Sometimes I get the impression, though, that to look at the other side of this sort of thing, the legitimate, quote unquote, which I never thought was legitimate, music press or press or all of that. For many years, when they had a lock on things, people had to swallow or read or watch stuff they didn't really like, weren't really interested in, and just kind of take it because that's what's coming down from above.
Yeah.
And now suddenly, people can support the weird shit that they like. You know? And so there's some truth in there somewhere, a weird kind of, I don't know, terrible common denominator or something. But,
There's no longer gatekeepers, I guess.
No.
No longer gatekeepers. It's wide open.
Yeah.
Wide open.
At the time that Chaka Khan was around, I actually played a gig with I played the first Rufus gig. They opened for the Stooges.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the Whiskey a Go-Go, I thought, oh, the girl's good, But at that time that I was singing and admiring some people like that, I wouldn't dare to, appropriate what they did.
No.
But
No.
I think you can now because people are more open-minded and crossing.
Yeah.
You don't have to wear certain things or.
No. I mean, it's kind of like I could probably sing like that at a push, but it wouldn't be right. It just wouldn't, because it's not me, And I spent so many years, I'm sure all of us have here around this table, experimenting with stuff that probably isn't you, that you could probably do, but doesn't really suit you, doesn't really feel like you. You don't feel fitted within it.
Do you listen to opera? Because you can sing as good as them. Oh, no. Yes, you do.
When
We can go to Italy together.
please, I would love that.
All right.
When I sing, I always wish that I could sing like you.
Oh, wow.
Like that would be my dream. Is
To
like,
get down.
I know.
Yeah, right.
I don't know how many cigarettes I'm gonna have to smoke before
Well,
I can get that
yeah.
low. But I'm trying.
Yeah, okay. I don't know if you like him, the Divine Comedy.
Yeah.
I like him a lot, and I saw he did a piece for the Irish Times, and the headline was, "Modern times are rubbish." Laid it right out there, the guy, But I really like he can do. He can sing like National Express. Do you know that one by him? Yeah, he's got songs where he sounds. It's somewhere between Lulu and Tom Jones,
Yeah.
Again, it's perfect, and it's perfect, and the lyrics are sensible too. And I think he's doing that out because he just well, this was better anyway, and it resolved. There was resolution in a lot of the older songs, you know. And I was talking to, I correspond with a guy named Bill Callahan, who's a good American kind of Fred Neil cowboy type of writer, and just saying, you know, him, what do you think? Because so many things don't resolve anymore. You know, the music, it just kind of like, oh, I like this part that goes beep 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 beep, boom, boom,
Yeah,
boom.
sure.
Oh wow, that's really great, and then you know, and then it's gone, you know. And but the times don't resolve either. That's the thing. And then he mentioned that he was hearing it with in the newer hip hop is getting more and more ambient.
Yes.
And I started thinking about he knows ambient music way back, and that's maybe everything is just gonna goes into one big spray. I don't know, but you know, yeah, there's a trend toward just general ambiance.
Yeah, there is. And that's one side of the spectrum. Then there's this other side of the spectrum where you get kind of a genre crosser, somebody who like does like a random playlist, you know what I mean, in their music. Like, you know, one thing's rock, next thing's hip hop, next thing's this and that, and you know, you get this kind of thing going on. What do you think about that? I mean, because I do that. So if you want to go ahead and nail me, now's the time, baby. Nail me. Yeah. But what do you think about all that kind of thing?
I think there's something about wanting to. I'm not saying this is your reasons, but flexing your musical muscles.
Yeah.
You know, showing I can do this and I can do that and I can do that. And I know that I have sort of had that thought before about wanting to do that, but I feel like as long as there's something tying everything together, it's like Grace Jones, like any song she would sing on, like literally anything, it would sound like a Grace Jones track because her voice is so distinct. So I feel like as long as you have that, then that's all that matters.
I think so. I mean, because when people listen to their podcasts and stuff like that, they don't listen to one artist. They don't listen to one genre. You know, and so it's only natural that an artist would probably come about that it's quite random, you know, within their presentation. And you're a genre crosser yourself, Iggy. I mean,
I do a little bit for it's the reason that Anna just said I want to see if I could, you know, gee, do I always have to be the guy who sings like Bugs Bunny? That's when I was rehearsing Raw Power with the Stooges in a disused club here. There were some workmen, good English workmen, working on the place, you know, trying to refurbish it. I think it was talk of the town.
Okay.
And after the first rehearsal was over, then the second day I came in and they went, "Oi, look, here come Bugs Bunny." You know, so like, you know, you want to try different things just because, gee, wouldn't it be great if I could do this or that? And but I think that's different than I think some of the artists you're talking about. There are certain, you know, popular artists who have producers and a whole marketing staff that bring them, okay, now you refract a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and then we get the singer to do it with the rapper and the rapper to do it with the singer.
Yeah.
Which is, I guess in a way that's sort of like the next step after when sampling came in really big, you know, then like for instance, Tupac sampled a killer track from Chris Stainton Band and Joe Cocker called Woman to Woman. You know that track?
No.
Oh, it's a killer. It's one of the best pieces of British R&B that's ever been done by a proper British outfit. Wow. Yeah, and it's that and they just lifted it for Tupac, and you know, you could do that for a while, but I think the archaeological pit might be thinning out now. You know.
Hence your comment about the ambience.
Yeah, maybe.
I think it's just softer, isn't it?
It doesn't demand so much from you, maybe.
No.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just I think that's still there. There's a whole wave of contemporary rappers that are still doing the kind of mid-90s golden era stuff. You know?
Yeah.
But it's kind of, especially sort of Atlanta way rappers down there have you know, they've come up with trap. And you know, that's obviously been,
which is kind of coming out of like UGK and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm from Texas, so I feel you.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Which initially I was a bit not getting it, but after a while, just properly slid into it. It's really good.
Well, you hear the earlier elements of it with like DJ Screw.
Right. Okay.
You know, like, and he's like, I mean, the way he would chop stuff, you can hear that. You can hear all of that element in trap. I mean, that's, and the ambient thing, I mean, like, well, I mean, hip-hop has always been about what, sound effects that go on in the city and whatnot, and all this kind of stuff, you know. So you can definitely understand why it's going over there. Plus, the conformity of such. You hear, like, I don't know, you even listen to dance music. I mean, it's in 4/4. It's like you watch these people at raves, it's like, hey, you know you're marching, right? You know, you're marching, bro. You know, like, you know. So yeah, you know, no, I hear that. They cued me for question 2, but we're already in it. So, you know, yeah, as far as genre crossing and things like that. And you, I mean, you were talking earlier, like how you was doing the R&B thing and all this kind of stuff. You cross genres as well. Do you think you're going to do an album that shows all that kind of stuff on a massive scale, or are you going to stick with your...
No, I don't know.
Spoken like a true artist.
Yeah. You just don't know, because then you think, oh no, I'm bored with that, or I've done that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like it's like you go back, oh, I'll do something else.
Yeah.
I don't even know what else I'm going to do,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
I hear you, man.
It's just, I've got a couple of demos at home that Andrew sent, but, you know, who knows, you know what I mean?
Man, what you do already rocks the stadium, though, to me. Just 2 cats, too. It rocks the stadium. I mean, what's the science behind that, do you think? Like, I know that's broad, but I mean...
Just a big...
Yeah.
Because at the time you had X Factor and everything else, and around 2012, 2011, well, from about sort of mid-noughties upwards, 2006, you could even take about year 2000, it just started getting a bit dry music for me. You know?
I hear you.
And nothing was happening. And that rolled on, and guitar music in England was completely just a bit stale, you know. Mm-hmm. And then... I don't know, really. I just got more into hip-hop, into rap, and got obsessed with rap, and particularly East Coast rap.
Yeah.
And wanted to not emulate that, but wanted to follow that form, that way of approaching, you know, for a singer.
I feel the Wu-Tang in you, for sure.
It's definitely Wu-Tang.
I feel the
I was
Wu-Tang.
completely obsessed with the Wu-Tang Clan for quite a while.
Definitely.
And so I studied that and tried to do that, but in my own accent, but not sound really crap.
Yeah, no, I hear
in an
you.
English accent, like some previous people had. And that's what come out, and it sounded more punk. But then I started getting into old 80s punk again, you know, GBH, English Dogs, just singles here and there. I'm not a big sort of record buyer or anything.
Yeah, and then the soundscapes, and then you're very theatrical, and it's just like, yeah, I mean, talk to us about it.
I mean, I guess my first inspiration was more like classical music.
Classical,
so
okay.
I always loved the idea of making the guitar sound like an orchestra, or just seeing how far you could take the expression of the guitar.
Mm-hmm.
And then also, I guess, with my voice, this idea that the voice and the guitar can be almost one thing, and that they're responding to each other.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of the basis of it. And I guess this feeling of, you know, rawness mixed with reaching for something higher. I like the idea of the high and the low, and that they're almost the same thing. Just like the best moments in life, you know, have both.
Oh, yeah.
And I guess that's what I try and get across.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Yeah. I mean, I mean, like, well, and then Iggy, your dynamics, they range, I mean.
I'll try anything.
Yeah. I mean, the patience, but like you said, you talked about the resolve earlier. Like things, your stuff does resolve. I've noticed this. And why do you think nowadays, for me, I think why artists like myself, I can safely say, is kind of afraid to stay that long in a thing. You know what I mean? And what's that all about, you think, as far as, because there's a lot of us like that.
I do realize from time to time that, like, a lot of what I do is anachronistic because you've got to get like 7 people in the same room with each with their little equipment and everything, and it's not efficient and blah blah blah, and it doesn't ape, but it's very related to some old forms that have turned to shit.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
like whatever. You name it, especially the capital R rock, you know. So I just try to think about always try to think about the people in front of me when I work. You know, that's the main thing is how am I going to reach and connect and get them involved in some way. As long as you've got that going on, then it really doesn't matter if you're a little bit, from yesteryear in the setup or whatever.
Right.
That's what I think. You know, but I'm working with Noveller on this new record that you did a lot of. Was more like what Anna's talking about. She plays she's a full orchestra with her guitar, and there's no backbeat, no real discernible chord change, although there are chords used, and that appealed to me because I'm kind of sick of the rock form as a just plain old form. You know, there can still be good things that you can reuse it or something. The People, Places, Parties that we've been covering, that riff has been around for a while. It was in something that was very sort of like an epic poem called Sister Ray by the Velvet Underground, and it's just this guy's at a very degenerate party, and there's a sailor sucking on his ding dong, and he's so stoned he's not searching for his main line because he couldn't hit it sideways. All right, so this is a real basic stuff.
Yeah.
And then a couple years later, a few years after that, this band called Modern Lovers. Here's a nice young clean kid. He's from Massachusetts. He's not from New York, and he nicked the riff and wrote something called Roadrunner. Roadrunner here, that has a little more form. There's now something that approaches. It's not a chorus, but it's a hook. Roadrunner, Roadrunner, blah, 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 blah. And then he goes on about Massachusetts and being up all night. Roadrunner, Roadrunner. That's your recurrent frame. And then, Sleaford Mods take that, and suddenly it's people, places, parties, and it's like a combination punch,
Yeah.
And it lends itself. Sometimes something really, really simple, and doesn't even have to have a note, or it can have one note. If the timing enhances the timing of the riff, then you're getting to what Anna was talking about, where the two meld, the voice and the guitar meld
together.
and suddenly you've got this propulsion going. So that's sort of what I've always tried to do as a vocalist. I just listen to what the musicians are doing, and I'm thinking, how can I enhance that? Where I'll also sound okay too, and then try to name it. Naming is vital in putting everything from these days. There are professional namers that they will name your product for you. And,
oh, really?
Yeah.
Like
there are
and
guys,
stuff.
and there are guys that make up like the names for the new drugs.
Oh,
Yeah. It's horrible. It's horrible. But do you ever think who makes up like what's the one? Oh, the one where you fly away like a butterfly. It used to be a Quaalude.
Oh, yeah.
70s.
Yeah.
But now it's like Lantaro or something, I have no feel for commerciality. Okay.